Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com.
And
Right?
he had like this whole thing about knife play.
Oh.
So now I'm like,
Was it real knives or was it?
It was a fucking butter knife.
Okay.
He took a freaking, just like the metal to my skin
Right.
was amazing. And like the adrenaline just rushing through my body
Right.
was such a turn on. Like I did not realize, and I don't know if it was just the anxiety, but it was hot as fuck.
Adrenaline can do that in
Yes.
ways that you don't expect. Not that you know, because your adrenaline doesn't spike like ours do.
My adrenaline has spiked many times throughout my life.
Sexually?
For other reasons.
I was going to say.
But yeah, I know exactly what it's like to be running and flowing on adrenaline. You know, you pull up to a car
Yeah,
accident.
but you weren't having orgasms.
Was not having orgasms, but you know, you pull up to a car accident or something, and you feel like you have the power to just pick the car up off the person.
Yeah, as a volunteer, a firefighter.
That adrenaline, that's the adrenaline rushes I used to get.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sexual, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's a little bit
I'll
different.
take your word for it. I need that adrenaline now just to keep me going.
I do too. That's kind of how I function.
Right.
From one adrenaline rush to the other.
Yes.
That's how you wake up and realize.
Constantly in that fight or flight mode.
Right. So let's talk about your dominance. What type of dominant are you? I know you've mentioned pleasure dom,
Yes.
and I know you've mentioned sensory dom.
Yes.
So do you want to go into any more detail on that as far as those definitions, or are there any others that you can think of as being dominant in you?
I'm a little bit of a sadist, which I've explored more.
Recently,
It's not recent. I haven't just recently discovered that I really am. I do like inflicting pain
Right.
and pushing those boundaries.
But now, and I know we've had this talk before, and I'm the same way. I have sadistic traits. I don't consider myself a sadist.
I don't either.
You do. You have the sadistic traits when your partner that you're playing with wants to feel that pain, right?
Yes.
So it's not like you have somebody and you're just constantly thinking, I'm going to.
Yeah, no,
inflict
I don't
this.
go into
Okay.
it like that. But I do have partners that are like, yeah, no, I don't want that, but I give it to them anyways. Like, you're going to take it because I know that's where I'm pushing their boundaries.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's because I'm familiar with them. I know
Right.
their limits.
Right.
And I know, like, giving them that, they're going to get pleasure from it. They just don't know it yet.
Gotcha.
okay.
Yep.
I guess that's a good way to explain it.
Yep. I would agree. Yep. And again, I've said it a few times too. You know, once you get into BDSM, you know, for the people that are listening that are brand new, it's not a good idea to jump right in and start pushing boundaries.
Exactly. It's
But
very scary, but you don't want to just go in and just start beating
Right.
people.
You don't
It
want to
doesn't
start
work that
swinging
way.
as hard as you can with a flogger.
Yeah,
and all.
no.
You've got to build. You've got to get
Yes.
you got to know your partner, and your
Yeah, you
partner
gotta
has to trust
explore.
you.
Yeah, you got to explore and experiment
Right.
to see what you like. And going in, there's like, it's such a big world. There's so much that you can do. And I mean, that's kind of where like, I like to where you can go on to the online and do the BDSM test
Yes.
and kind of give you a general idea of where you fall in line
Right.
into the BDSM world. And then they have a BDSM checklist to where it pretty much lists everything, and you can kind of go in there and see what's a hard limit, what's a soft limit. We're like,
Right.
yeah, I want to do it, and kind of get an idea.
He had me do that on FET. We did some checklists, checking of
Right.
kinks and
Yeah.
stuff, just so that he would get some ideas of what I liked, what I
and
was
new play
interested
scenes.
in.
Yeah, keep you interested.
Right. And
Mix
then
it up
that's
a little
that's
bit.
also a good way. I know we've mentioned it before, but if you have trouble communicating in person what you're interested in. If you're afraid you're going to get embarrassed or you're going to get judged, that's a way for people who have a difficult time communicating.
Yes.
We don't have that problem. You're more than willing to tell me what you're into, and I'll tell you what I'm into. But for those people that have a little bit of problem, that is an excellent alternative
Right.
to finding out without having to communicate or face each other. Now you can be in different rooms and in different cities or whatever.
I
and
like
check
it too,
that.
though, even like being in having experience, because there's things that I didn't even know that they do.
Right.
And it's like, oh,
all the time.
and I'm like, oh, so like, well, my new thing that I've yet to do that I'm still a little nervous about that I want to do is the consensual and non-consensual.
Right. She has that same fantasy
So
there.
There's fantasies
yes,
in my
I have that
head.
fantasy, but it still scares the living shit out of me.
Right.
So I'm like, do I do it? It's going to have to be with somebody that I trust.
Right.
Like, and there was a dom that my daddy dom that I almost did it with, and we talked about it, but we never actually did it. We kind of broke up before all that went down, which, I mean, it wasn't a bad
I
breakup.
mean, even talking about it, my heart is just, it gets a little bit elevated and I want it,
Yes.
but I'm scared.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
but that adrenaline gets you so pumped up and so excited. It makes it such great orgasm.
Right.
And it's all that energy goes straight to your freaking vagina.
I bet you wouldn't mind.
No, well, that's because you don't have one, thankfully.
Yeah. And I don't know. And I guess it's just giving that power up too. And that's a big turn on too. And that's
Right.
kind of where I get my subby side. I do like not having to think and give up that power and not have to make decisions. Just do it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I like being taken care of.
Another question. Do you play with women or men or both?
Both. I enjoy both.
Does it change up if you're a dominant or a submissive, or does it not matter?
It depends on the individual and the connection that I have with the individual. I get off pretty much, like I said, from other people's pleasure, and everybody's different. So like, if you're not into girls, I'm not going to be into you. If you don't want me to touch you, and I know there's a lot of girls that are like bi-curious or whatever, and they're like, oh, I don't seem to like it. I don't like really playing with them just because I mean, I do like giving them experience and I want them experience. I just don't
Right.
really want to be the one that give them that experience.
Right. It's okay to do the BDSM
Yes,
stuff.
'cause-
Like, let me
Yes, because that's different.
it's
Right.
totally different.
Yes.
That's what I try to explain.
Yes,
like
it's totally
BDSM
different.
play is different than swinger play.
yes.
So yeah.
Yes, and given that experience can go one of two ways, either good or bad. And
Right.
some experiences have been bad. And I guess because I've had those bad experiences, it's kind of ruined it for others that I don't really want to do that. But I did get into the swinger world because I'm so attracted to females. And that was I was very sheltered at a young age. I was like, what's proper, supposed to be a good mom, a good wife. You're not supposed to mix with the other sex,
Right.
but I
Right.
did. And honestly, I've been into girls since I was a little girl because I remember finding my dad's Playboy magazines.
Me too.
And yes,
We
and
were talking about
I used
that
to
today.
masturbate to Playboy magazines. I
Really?
mean, yes, I
Okay.
got off on girls, but I was always scared to date girls or be with girls. And that's kind of how I got into the swinger lifestyle, was to be with girls
Right.
and there'd be a man there. It made me comfortable that a man was there.
Yes.
And now I like it because I can just tag out. Like, you're it. That's the way.
Because
You get
I will
tired.
say that I'm with you. Like, I'm
Yes.
good, but he's
Tap in.
better.
Yes, you tap in the next.
I mean,
it's
there's
like,
times.
yes.
And so the second part of that is I don't always want to do it. I always want to make sure a person is having pleasure, but I don't always want to be the person.
Right. And
So
I think it makes it easier when you can tag
A man in.
or even another female. Like,
Yeah.
I know,
Now-
but
yeah,
he's
now I
so good. Master Nick's got the best. He is just amazing when it comes to being able to force orgasms on people.
No,
I may have one or two of those.
I think you've had a couple.
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Yeah, but I have come more into, I like women. I've dated women. I will date women now. that's why I said this world has really brought me into myself and made me very secure about who I am. And I'm okay with saying I'll date a woman and go out in public with a woman. I'm not ashamed of that anymore.
Right.
I mean, I'm actually pansexual. It doesn't matter your gender,
Right.
Transsexual, yeah.
So when you dom somebody, would you prefer to have a male submissive or a female submissive?
That's a hard one.
The next question might be even as equally hard.
So I am more dom towards females
Okay.
and subby for men.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yes.
When you are sub, would you rather have a man
But
or a woman?
I do dom men.
Right.
And I feel like if I was in a partnership with a man who was a sub, I would kind of have to do like when Chris and Manny talked about how their dynamic is, like in the bedroom. That was it. That would probably be my like dynamic too, only in the bedroom, because in everyday life, I need that dom part of you, or be the one that brings me down and take care of me. I need that.
Right.
But in the bedroom, I could do it. I did have a sub relationship, and he was subby. And we did the whole pegging and stuff like that.
Right.
And
so you,
I would be worried about pegging, and it's just because I've never done it, and
it's exhausting.
well, I can't
is it
even
now?
ride my husband for any length of time. Master Nick and I'm if I'm on top, I get really tired.
Well, you can always make them switch and them get on top. So then you're just laying there and they're doing their own thing. A good subby, experienced subby. Not all of them are going to go straight on top of it.
Right.
I just do not believe that I'm up for that. I mean, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
but
no, there's not.
Me personally doing it would be.
You
Nick, are you ready?
You would completely understand why at the end of our sexcapades, I'm going.
Yeah,
you would completely.
I had some men like really wear me out. Like I'm like I can't, like I've got to tap out, so I'd make them get on top.
Right.
Yeah, and
I do
some of them take it better than me. And
I
I'm
do
like,
what's
God
called
damn.
I do now what's called the fish flop.
The fish flop.
Because you're basically planking on top. For me, I'm planking on top of her, and by the time she's done and I'm done, it's kind of one of those things. Just move an arm and kind of fall to my side. So I call that the fish flop.
The fish flop.
And I'm done after that.
I love it.
Yep.
It was so funny when we had Mandy on here. She looked at me and she's went, "You're bisexual." And I went, "Well," she's like, "I've seen you play with women, but it's different. It's different. I think women are beautiful and I love women. I do not want a permanent woman partner. I'm quite happy with a man. Now, as a secondary, if he could handle it."
Yeah, I couldn't handle these fucking women. I'd early grave, bury me out back, put a fork in me, I'd be done. I don't know that I have the energy. I've started my workout routine. We'll see how well that goes. But
Hey, I'm low maintenance.
If I can get myself back up into shape,
I already said
then
once
maybe.
you all hit that threshold and you do start taking on.
You're willing to put an application in?
Yes, I'm filing an application. I'm moving in.
All right,
I want to be a tripod.
we may have to take this conversation offline then.
Yes, I want to be a tripod. I love you both so much.
We love you too.
Right.
It's been amazing.
Yes, they're two of my favorites.
Do you have steady play partners in the dominant submissive
I
lifestyle?
do.
So do these play partners, are they your subs?
No, I mean, like I don't have contracts.
You don't have contracts,
No, I don't-
rules, punishments?
No, I don't
any of
have
that?
all
You don't
that.
have punishments?
No, I'm not much of a punisher.
Oh, see, we can keep her.
Yeah, I don't. Now I do like. So my dom did help me with some of my sensory toys, and they have these little spike discs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're for punishment. That you can go either way. They're for the sensory play too, but
Right.
you can also use them for punishment. You can put them on some type of thing to lay on the floor, and then have them kneel on it. Now,
Ooh.
I've never really had anybody that really wanted that.
Right.
So I've never-
Punishment. Because you've kind of leaned into the sensory
Yes.
sensual. So you haven't had somebody that mistress take me in hand type of thing.
Right,
MiLady, I
correct.
need you
Yeah,
to.
I guess I dabble more in it as far as the dom part of it. I've never really had like a sub. I have steady play partners that I play with,
Yes,
but we have
we know
scenes and
you
stuff
do.
like that. But we don't have like a contract to where it's like we have rules and punishments. I never gone that.
Would you?
I mean, I don't say never. I mean, there's always that possibility with the right person. I guess I've just never
Or
really
if
had that
you
right
ended
person.
up in the right.
So yeah, so as a sub, yeah. So like my current dom now, we've talked about it, but we just haven't got there yet.
Okay. So you have
I
the
have had a
contractor
contract
rules
before,
as a
yes.
sub, but for
Yes.
you as a dominant, you have
No.
not set up anything. Okay. I have.
No.
That's completely understandable.
What do you get out of a DS relationship? Why do you do it?
So as the dom side of it, I get the pleasure of fulfilling fantasies.
Yeah.
I got some fantasies.
Yeah, I enjoy bringing happiness and pleasure to others. That's what excites me. I love seeing people happy. And I
Right.
love turning people on.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking love it.
Oh yeah. I like that too.
Yeah, and
Your grin. I love you.
I love it.
I like to bring a little bit of pain.
A little bit of pain.
A little bit of
A
pain.
little bit of pain.
And then on the subby side, I like the freedom of not having to think
Oh
or
my
do
gosh.
anything.
Right.
I love a lot of attention. I'm an attention whore. Give me
Oh,
all
really?
the attention. Yes.
I can
love it.
see that. I
I
never
love it.
thought of it, but now that you've said it, thinking back, I can
I
see
love
that.
all the touches. I love all the cuddles. I love all the kisses.
Well, one of the nice things, though, you bring that to you too.
Yes.
Because I will sit next to you and then lean into you because you're that kind of a person
Yes.
where we're in a lot of touching in the dungeon when other people are playing. There's
Right.
still that touching and sensory
Yeah.
and
Right.
sensation.
Yes.
You enjoy receiving it, but you also give a lot of
Yeah, I do.
that touching.
Yeah,
and the
I think
feeling
that's
and the
yes,
rubbing.
and that's why that shines, I guess, in my dom side because
Right.
I like it so much because I want it so much. That's why
That you give.
I give it.
Yep.
That's kind of like with the love language. If you ever read the 5 love languages,
Oh yeah,
you
I used
usually
to know.
give
I know
what
what
you
mine
want.
is. Right, and that's one reason why a lot of relationships fail is you receive your love language different than what the other person's giving,
Yes.
and there's that conflict. That was one of the things a few years back. Well, I think when we first met, I asked you to take that test. What is your love language? Because that's what I had learned is if I'm not showing you that love
Yeah,
in
you
your
feel their
language,
bucket of love.
then
Or I think it's what they called it.
yeah,
Yeah, you're speaking their love language. You're giving them
Right.
what they want. You're loving them how they need to be
how
loved.
they receive it. Yep,
And that's where a lot of relationships they don't get that.
correct.
They don't understand how to love that person.
Right.
And once you get that, you have that connection, your relationship can be amazing.
Exactly.
Ours is.
And a lot of that comes back to
I want
communication.
that.
Yep.
One day, hopefully I'll have it again.
With so much,
Well, I've had some really good relationships. I have been blessed with some good relationships, but I've had some really bad ones too.
Yeah, we all have. I've been very lucky in my life. I have had great people, but this relationship tops them all because I finally have both the kink and my home life. So instead of just having one or the other, I have both with Master Nick, and we are doing things on a regular basis that relate to our kink and the things that are important to us. And for the first time in my life, I have a group of friends and people that are part of my life and understand it, and we can talk about it and have the whole
Yes.
experience it together.
Yes, and that's why community is so important. And I if you're getting into the kink world, I highly recommend getting into the community, getting involved, going to munches, going to sloshes, meeting people, because that's how you build your friend groups. That's how you get to learn and experience from so many other people.
And even if there's things that are not yours,
yeah,
but not doing it at all means you'll never find it.
yeah, exactly.
We're actually starting something, sneak peek here. We're starting something because of Master Nick that people have reached out to us, and we are going to start something called
The Dom Life podcast, Kink Lost and Found.
and it's about finding your people.
Finding your people.
That's awesome. I
So
love that.
people have reached out to us and said, "Hey, we haven't
Where-
found our
where do you-
people.
Where can you find this? You know, and of course, first thing for one of them I did, I said, check out FetLife. And they're like, yeah, but it's full of scammers. And I agree with that. FetLife is great, but you have to be cautious and you have to be careful on Fet because there is a lot of scamming and people on there that don't know what they're talking about. But, you know, then I had a second person to reach out and I'm like, okay, I want to help. They're asking for people that I don't personally know, you know, these types of kinks or these types of fetishes
are
or
not within our wheelhouse.
group, but I know that there's these people out there. So
yeah, they want to find their community.
Right.
I totally
we're
going to
start.
we're
going to do an
Awesome.
episode in the future where we've made a form that we can send
got a
out.
form. I've sent this form out to these two individuals and told them fill out what they're willing to fill out, what information they're willing to give.
And we're not vetting anybody or
Nope.
doing anything like that. This is literally just going to be airing it so that it hits a wider group of people and maybe they can find their peeps.
Yep.
That's
Because
awesome.
it's
Their
awesome
community.
to find
awesome.
people that share your interest and share your likes. And that's what we're hoping is just to bring those people together to where they can start their own community and their own little group and all that, you know. So that is definitely something we're looking forward to do. I'm hoping I get those two forms back because I want to help people. I want them to find, again, us finding our kinks and finding our friends is what made our lives so much better. So if I
so
could help do that.
fulfilling.
It is fulfilling, and I feel like I'm so blessed to have so many amazing people in my life.
I feel
and
the same.
yes,
Like we do so much together.
Yes.
And then if you're feeling down, you literally have a community of people now that I can message and say, my dom's being bad. Sorry, Master Nick.
You let me know if she ever sends that message out. Okay.
Nope, she's a subby too.
All right, MiLady Kay, what is the next steps for you in BDSM or in kink?
I'm gonna get into like the community side more. I feel like so right now I haven't had the time to be able to really dive into a lot of it now, but that's gonna change here next year. I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands and I'm gonna go and do it a different direction. So I know like the club scene and the dungeons can be very intimidating to a lot of people.
Especially when you're new.
Yes, and they don't want to get in there and get involved because, you know, you're very insecure about it. I
And
totally
you don't want
get
to
it.
talk to people you
Yeah.
don't know. They're already in a scene.
Exactly.
That's what happened to us the first dungeon we ever went to.
Yeah.
And I was there. I mean, that's how me starting out. I was scared to take that first leap, that first step, and it's hard. It can be hard. So what I'm leaning more to is giving like private sessions for couples to give them like an intro to BDSM, help them figure out what their kinks are, and then giving them the opportunity to explain them like how to use the implements correctly, safely.
Gotcha.
That way they're not hurting each other as they're playing. And
So you're basically like a BDSM coach.
yes, like an intimacy coach, sex
Right.
coach, whatever you want to call it, to where I'm kind of introducing them to it, giving them that experience to see if they even like it. And then it can get expensive. All the equipment, all the toys are so costly. And
Don't say that
I
too
know
loud.
I
Don't say
spent
that
way
too
too much money, but that's another thing. So I give them what I have and let them explore it and see what they like and don't like, and give them the safety features of what you got to look for when you use this, and then give them the opportunity to back up and let them explore it together,
Right.
and me be out of the picture. So
Okay. Is this something you already have set up to where you're ready for people to start reaching
yeah, they
out
can
to
go
you?
ahead and start reaching out to me to set up, and I can come to your home, go through this, and then give you your time. I'm not gonna leave my equipment there. Like I'll give you like an
Right.
hour or so, hang out in the living room or something. I guess I
Okay.
don't know.
So how would somebody
you haven't
reach
flushed it all
Oh,
out yet.
Yeah. I'm still like in the start of all of this. My time is still limited somewhat till the end of the year, but starting next year, I'll have a lot more time on my hands. You can reach me on FetLife. I'm MiLady Kay. It's M-I, not M-Y.
Okay.
And then it's underscore between MiLady and Kay.
All right. So we're looking at MiLady Kay, MiLady _ Kay. We will have her information on our website pertaining to this episode under the tab podcast details.
Perfect. That is a great
work.
way to
Just
do
put my
it.
Fat Life name on there, and they can reach out to me and make sure they specify that. I do get a lot of spam, so
That they saw you, they heard the interview on the Dom Life.
yeah, make sure they
Because-
specify that, because I get a lot of messages from people that I don't want to get messages from too, especially being a female on there. So
Yeah. So in your subject line, add podcast.
yeah,
Okay. Just
that make
something to
sure
read.
that I do read it, because sometimes I will not. This is depending on how you start
And
off that
then,
first sentence.
and then if you don't hear from MiLady Kay, you can always reach out to the domlife.com.
Exactly.
And we
Yes.
can then forward on
Yes,
the
and they have a
information.
play space. So that's the thing. I don't have like a play space as of yet.
Correct.
So you can always rent out your all's play
Yes,
space.
we have the
and then we
dungeon
can
and-
come in
Yep.
and
MiLady Kay can come in and give her
give you that,
teaching.
yeah,
And
give that
Yeah.
experience.
might even be a tag team experience between the Dom Life and MiLady Kay. And hell, you're liable to leave here with a really great, exciting time.
Yeah,
Double the fun.
Double the fun.
absolutely.
So, is there anything else that you can think of through all your years of experience that would be meaningful or important for our listeners who may be new? Any other information you can think of that would be good for them?
Safety. Yeah, safety is a big thing. Always like do your research. Know what you're doing before you do it. You know, that's why I say it's research, and more research.
Exactly.
Get online. I know there's a lot of bad information out there, but
Yes.
there is a lot of good information out there as well. And when you're out there doing, especially impact, and you're doing wax and you're doing rope, you really need to know what you're doing. Take classes, talk to people that are experienced, and get their ideas, like what do I need to do to make this safe to where I'm not hurting anybody? Because you can really hurt people,
You
Yes.
can.
especially
you
with
can.
impact. That's like you can only impact on certain areas,
Right.
certain areas you have to be more gentle because you
Exactly.
can really fuck somebody
You
up.
can damage
Right.
their internal organs,
Yeah.
bruise their lungs, a lot of
And that's
stuff.
why I really want to reach out to people that want to get into this but don't know how. And it's like I will be there to guide you, to help you use these instruments, where
Right.
you can use them, how you can use them in these certain areas, so that way it's safer and they're
Yep.
not hurting people. I've been hurt, and I don't want, and it happens. You're gonna have issues, but
Right.
You're
try to do
trying
it
to
safely.
minimize
Yeah,
it.
try to
Right.
minimize it. Yes.
And then the other thing that I think is important, since we're talking about safety, is that there are a lot of people that think that they're dominants and they may not be.
Correct.
So be
Yes.
very careful about selection of people that you're going to trust
Correct.
to do BDSM with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of bad experiences with DOMs, and that's kind of where I'm at now, to where I'm very particular about who I bought them for because of those bad experiences. They don't respect your boundaries. They don't listen to your safe words. We have all those in play for a reason, and you have to respect that. So if I call red, you fucking stop.
Right.
Right.
And especially when you're restrained. And I've had DOMs not stop, and it's shied me away from wanting to be in this community.
And being a submissive.
Yes.
That's one of the things you mentioned started the transition to you doming, is that you don't trust everybody. I mean, there's
Correct.
people that you don't trust. And I've heard too many not nice stories about submissives that get themselves in, that they thought that this person was good, they thought it would be fine, and then once in the middle of a scene or a session in a private area, it became not safe.
I feel like as a sub sometimes, especially being like single subbies and then going out there and being with DOMs, like I would 100% be your wing DOM. Like if you want to go hook up with a new DOM and you feel uncomfortable about it, call me up. hey, I'll go over there, sit outside the door, whatever, to make sure that you feel comfortable, you feel safe. Because sometimes going into these people's homes, you don't really know them.
Exactly. Or what's set up, or what's going on, what you're walking into.
Or have me on speed dial. And I know it's like if you're restrained, you're not going to be able. But if you feel like, try to go to the bathroom, call somebody, you know, even if it's 5 a.m, like last night, because I had a bad experience last night. But it is what it is. And it was somebody that was inexperienced, that had no clue about BDSM, but wanted to learn about it and totally twisted it on me. And I found myself in the bathroom at 5 o'clock in the morning, contemplating on what I needed to do to get out of the situation. Luckily, I heard him snoring, packed up my shit, and out the door I went. So,
but it happens.
It
and
does.
had you not been able to go into the bathroom, had you not been able, if this person had been a little bit more aggressive, and it wasn't 5 a.m. where he was ready to pass out, now you're in a situation, which is why safety is really important. Being aware. One of the benefits of Club Tempted.
Yes.
Is that it's an open...
So that's normally where I do like all that kind of stuff at. And this was just a fluke thing that kind of just met somebody and it kind of happened. And I normally don't do that because I know better. Right. Because of all my bad experiences. I just have poor judgment. It is what it is. But
well, the good thing is you was able to get out of there. And
I was lucky.
And you can tag that down as more experience on...
Yeah, on not to do it again.
On what to do.
Smack my hand. Stop it.
All right.
Well, and then the other thing is you can let the person know. I mean, had you walked into that a little bit different and said, hey, just so you know, I've texted your address to my friends. They're aware that I'm here.
Yep.
Safety is my first priority. And they will be here.
Yeah.
Not that you would do that. I understand it. But when you're setting up a BDSM, you did not set up a BDSM play date.
Not set up. That was not a set up play date. It was a spontaneous thing that just kind of happened. And I kind of got myself caught into a situation that I regretted after I got caught into it.
Right. But it was not, if you're setting up a BDSM pay, right.
But I could have been. Like if it was
somebody that was out to...
Yeah, he didn't respect my boundaries. That's because he was new to the kink world. He didn't know anything about... He knew enough.
Yeah, if you say don't do that, then he shouldn't have done that.
And he didn't respect me
even
saying
that.
Yeah, me saying, no, this is a hard limit for me. We're not doing this. And he didn't respect that. And to the point to where I was like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom, getting out of there. And then it took as long as I could in the bathroom. So trying to figure out. And then when I heard him snore, I was like, thank God. I was like, okay, I'm out of here.
Right.
I want to say that because I was going to come on here, I wanted to get you a little... I didn't really get you a little something. I wanted to give you something that I got, all because of your little comment.
Oh,
okay, it's going to Master Nick.
Yes.
Because of what little comment?
Whenever I got it. As soon as you see it, he's got to know.
Oh, this is great. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Take it out, buddy. I haven't seen it.
You're gonna love it.
It's in the bag.
You're gonna love
Pull it out of the bag.
You're gonna love it. All right, it's out of the bag.
Now it's under the table. I want to see it.
You gonna give her a sneak peek?
Oh my God! I got the rubber ducky
Ball
bag. Yes.
So this is a yellow rubber ducky with straps on either side of it, and it is a ball gag. So you will be having the ducky's ass in your mouth after a while. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. We loved it too. We wanted it so bad.
I know. So we were at Kingtasia and they had this little duck game where you would give your coins and you would pick a duck and it would have a number on it. And the first duck I fucking pulled was the big prize, is one of the big prizes. And she's like, you get the duck ball gag. And I was like, oh, cool. This is really cool. I like it. So then I come back over there because we was getting ready for the next presentation of the rope stuff. And you seen it. You're like, no, you didn't just get that. I spent so many of my tokens over there just to get that ball gag. Yeah, and you didn't get it. And then I was sitting there thinking about it. And then, and I loved it when I had it and I had not used it, so it's not been used. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I love you guys so much, and I know that you really wanted that. So
What I love about it is you can lock it. It's made
I
like a
didn't realize
collar
that.
that can be locked on, so
There you go.
cannot be removed.
I'm going to be running around with a duck's ass in my mouth.
I want
are.
pictures. I want pictures.
We may take it to the club with us tonight.
Oh, no.
I'm so excited about the club tonight. So it is back to school. So everybody's going to be in their little schoolgirl outfits.
Yep.
But Nick said that it's going to be tonight is Dom night. So I coming in as a Dom as a fucking nun.
I can't wait.
And I'm going to have my ruler to slap all the bitches. I'm going to slap all the booties. Slap all the butts.
Oh, my
And
God.
thank you very much for the
Thank
rubber
you
duck
so
ball
You
gag.
are very welcome.
much.
And now- And we're going to continue right with MiLady Kay into our dungeon.
Ooh.
Where we are going to set up the dungeon play date with
I get to have some fun as a submissive.
Yep.
You
I'm
guys
so
get to.
excited.
we're
you
going
guys
to
get
do sensory deprivation
Yep.
and sensual play.
Yep.
And we will really have to focus on talking about what we're using and how we're using it, because unlike Impact, you're not going to hear a whole lot other than what we're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. I'm not. I feel
You're
like
good.
I talk, but I'm not like a talker when I'm playing or whatever, except unless I'm checking in. I like to constantly check in, like more pressure, especially with the sensory stuff, because sometimes it can just be too light.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I think you don't want to.
Don't worry, I'll go green.
Yeah.
So stick around for next week for our dungeon play.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.